Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about AMD bringing AI upscaling to their platform. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, there's going to be a talk at the GDC. Obviously, Microsoft is going to talk about DSR being added to the DirectX like 12 or whatever, making it easier for Nvidia, Intel, and AMD to bring their upscaling platform or upscaling technologies to the platform. Well, the president or somebody high up in AMD today said that they're going to be bringing that this year in 2024. They're going to be bringing upscaling using AI to the AMD platform. So basically, in my mind, what this means is they are finally jumping on what Intel and Nvidia has already been doing. Now, we've already known for a while that like the 7000 series GPUs have AI upscalers or AI computing in them. So I would hope that this would be coming to the 7000 series GPUs. That'd be awesome. And my stance still stands on DLSS. I don't really like it, so I'm really hoping that when AMD brings their upscaling, I hope it still looks closer to what FSR 3 is already doing, as opposed to what DLSS and stuff looks like. Don't get me wrong. I with DLSS, I just feel like I lose image quality, whereas with the AMD solution like FSR and all of that, I still retain most of that image quality. So I'm hoping that there's a way that that this can save that. But on the other end of the spectrum, I mean, it's kind of interesting because in every single price bracket for AMD versus like the NVIDIA GPUs, I feel like you get more rasterization performance, so you get a better overall experience that's only going to add to that if they really do bring AI upscaling, because that will help AMD kind of grow that platform a little bit more. And with the new push for all of this upscaling technology and all of that stuff, I mean, these things aren't going away, but this here would be AMD's opportunity to bring a proprietary AI upscaling tech to their platform, and I do kind of wonder if that's still going to stay open source or if it's going to be something more along the lines of it's created and it only works on AMD platforms. Don't know if it would work on. I mean, I think possibly maybe 6000 series, but I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. So if they do bring it, with this being a feature that only supports like AI cores and stuff, that there kind of would. So here's my thing on it, because I was kind of upset with the whole NVIDIA thing, the 4000 series, like the 30 series not getting, frame generation and all of that stuff that NVIDIA brought to the 4000 cards. So my thing is how would I actually feel if they don't bring these technologies to like the 6000 series cards, or are we at a spot now to where 7000 series cards have been out long enough to where if this feature actually gets brought to 7000 series cards, which is more of an 8000 series product launch or something like that, yeah, I don't know. Only time is going to tell. But to tell you the truth, I mean, if they bring this to 7000 series cards and then 8000 series cards, and I would love to see AMD be able to get this running on the 6000 series cards. That'd be awesome. I like, that's like one of the main things I like about AMD is their willingness to support their products longer and bring these features like they did with the beta drivers for the 6000 series for AMD's fluid motion frames. Like, that technology is awesome, and if it's used in certain games, it actually enhances the experience and gives you a little bit more bang for your buck out of your GPU. Because I mean, in my mind, when we're buying these GPUs, I don't want see, I don't want to go out of my way to buy a GPU just based on features and magic and all of that stuff. If that was the case, then I would still be using NVIDIA. But with AMD, I don't feel like I need to heavily rely on that to get the experience that I feel I should be getting out of a GPU. These GPUs aren't getting any cheaper. They're getting more expensive. It seems like they're getting more expensive every single generation, and the product stack, is switching and stuff. We just watched both AMD and NVIDIA basically sell us stripped down GPUs that basically are are slightly more powerful than the outgoing models from the 6000 series and the 3000 series GPUs. So in part of my sense, with sticking with AMD and feeling like AMD is actually doing, a pretty decent job, is the whole platform change from, monolithic die over to the chiplet design in the 7000 series, and still being able to match and exceed the performance from the last gen models. I kind of give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt with that, just due to the fact that like your 7000 or your 7900 XTX is actually a beast. My 7900 XT actually does a dang good job, and it is very potent. I've been able to enjoy a majority of games without having to really worry about upscaling tech or any of that kind of stuff. I haven't ran out of VRAM with AMD. Generally, most of the games that do come out are pretty decent. Like, I don't get a whole lot of, like the stutter struggle and stuff like that. Every once in a while, there is a game that'll come with that. But, for me, the overall experience with AMD has been a lot more stable in terms of anything that I've bought from NVIDIA. And, I get a lot of pushback from the NVIDIA crowd. And to me, in my mind, it's like, look, man, if NVIDIA was good for me, bro, I would still be there. I mean, obviously, if you look at my shelf up there, I've spent $40.90 money on 3 AMD GPUs. So it's not a question of being able to go out and buy NVIDIA. It's a question of like, it's more of a principle thing, man. I want good, consistent, quality, hardware across the board. And I feel like AMD does that, especially for my specific needs as a gamer, because I am a gamer, and I think that AMD is more gamer focused than NVIDIA is. I get that the whole new thing with AI is the big push in technology. And a lot of us, I don't even think a lot of us really understand it. We just parrot whatever somebody else tells us, and we're like, oh yeah, we take that as freaking fact or whatever. And at the end of the day, you have to be able to sit back and really look at your experience. And I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that if you went out and bought any 40 series card versus like what you've had before, if you're coming from like a 10 series card, a 20 series card, even a 30 series card to some extent, going to an NVIDIA 40 series card, yes, it's an upgrade. It's a definite upgrade. You do get more. You do get a little bit better quality experience, but that's the thing with NVIDIA. It's just a little bit better in terms of, like a little bit more VRAM or this, but then the cost goes up significantly. Whereas on the AMD side, I guarantee it, if you come from any 30 series card or below to anything above a 7800 XT, when I say anything, that means like your 3090 or 3090 Ti, stuff like that. If you come from like that class of a card to like a 7900 XT, I think you'll find that you're pretty much in the same category for the most part, for significantly less money than what you paid for that 3090 or 3090 Ti experience. And to me, that is good. But I also kind of feel like, man, that these GPUs are literally treading water. They're not really moving up in overall performance significantly enough to where we can justify continuing to spend all of this money. And that's why I've recommended, stay in that mid range, when it comes to like AMD, $500 for 7800 XT, $550 for 7900 GRE. That card's pretty awesome, man. And you're getting, I'm not even going to say ray tracing, because at that level of ray tracing, it's just like, really, dude, are we serious at this point right now? I mean, yeah, you could turn it on and look at it and maybe do like some photo mode and maybe look at it and see what the visuals look like and stuff. But to run out there and like promote like ray tracing for 4070s and 4070 supers and under, GR 7900 GRE, that's just kind of madness, man. In my opinion, that's just kind of it's just kind of a feature that exists, but it's not really attainable. Like you really can't utilize that in today's games without it, you know. I mean, like there are some, obviously there are some, and your 7900 XT, like what I got, I do get pretty decent, you know, ray tracing performance on certain games, but then there's certain games that just doesn't work good and it doesn't look right, and it's not worth taking the performance hit. And then, you know, what I mean, I've utilized ray tracing a little bit, but 99.9% of the time I just turn it off. I'll look at it and then I just turn it off and play the game at really high frame rate. And that to me feels a lot better than what any of that ray tracing is giving you. But here's the thing, man. If AMD can find a way to build an algorithm with the AI upscalers and get it to be on par with, you know, XeSS or DLSS, or I mean, at least within striking distance, that to me puts AMD in a class that, and if they keep their prices the same way, if they keep their pricing the same way, if they keep, you know, building this stuff out and supporting their products long term, you know, that opens a lot of doors for a lot of gamers that might feel that might feel like what's the word for it? They might feel trapped, or they might feel like, gosh, man, there's no other options, and that sucks, dude. I hate when people feel that way. That really sucks, you know, feeling like you can't move to a different brand because you don't want to miss out, and that's FOMO, man. That's FOMO. It probably took me about a week to stop missing the features on Nvidia. Once I switched over to AMD, it was about a week. Like it didn't take long at all. You get used to AMD, you get used to the settings, you get used to the drivers, you get used to the software and stuff. And once all of that happens, and once you find yourself in a position to where you're like, okay, obviously this game might have looked better with DLSS, but I don't really need DLSS on the AMD side because I've got the VRAM to push it. I've got the power. I can run it at an acceptable frame rate and stuff. And I'm not saying that you're not going to have to make sacrifices to switch to AMD. Like that's like nobody's ever said that. Like you will obviously have to decide if DLSS and depending on what class of GPU you've got, if ray tracing is worth the sacrifice. It's not as big of a sacrifice on the ray tracing side as you might think, or as you're led to believe, because there are games like Resident Evil 4, Control, a bunch of games that have ray tracing that runs acceptably on AMD hardware. Now, there are some games that clearly are built for the NVIDIA platform that require more hardware or more DLSS or something like that to actually be playable. And that does, yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to have to make some sacrifices, but I don't think that most people understand that, like, the sacrifices that you have to make to go to AMD. I think that once you pick up an AMD card and you enjoy everything else, like the whole, I feel like the ecosystem is just a little bit better, like the overall software and stuff. Once you experience all of that and you get used to it and stuff, like I don't think that you'll feel like the extra added money that you're paying for the NVIDIA product is actually worth it in the end. I feel like most of us gamers are pretty good about accepting some things and being able to still enjoy our experience at certain levels, no matter what hardware we're on. I mean, we can all probably play games on an Xbox Series S and be just fine, depending on the game, the experience, you know, the screen, whatever. There's a lot that goes into this, and I just don't know if the overall cost increase for NVIDIA is really worth it and stuff. Especially, I don't think it is, man. Like, you could get a 7900 GRE for $550 with 16 gigs of VRAM, and that's, you know, I mean, the price of a 4070, $550, and your 7900 GRE is going to be stronger than that card and cost you the same amount of money. Or, I mean, if you're talking 4070 Super, which is $600, $50 more, you do obviously get a little bit better ray tracing performance out of that card. You get a little bit better a little bit better, overall power and stuff, pretty much matching the GRE for the most part for $50 more, but you're also getting 4 gigs of VRAM less. So I don't know, man. Like, to me, VRAM is a lot more important than ray tracing that I might or might not be able to use and DLSS. I would much rather have more frame rate or more VRAM buffer than DLSS any day of the week. That to me is a fair is a good compromise. And to be completely honest, man, if AMD's AI upscaler puts it within striking distance of DLSS, I don't think that Nvidia would have an edge anymore. Period. Period. Like end of like I don't think that the gap would be big enough to justify buying an Nvidia overpriced product, especially with the lack of VRAM. At least in this generation. I mean, we'll see how next generation plays out, and we'll see, how fast the implementation is of AMD's AI upscaler and what that means for the overall gaming landscape on AMD versus Nvidia. And this is good, though. This is good because this is going to bring a lot better competition and give you more options as a gamer to at least get a product that you can live with and be able to utilize and have fun with. So, all right, my friends, I'm going to go to bed. I got to go to work tomorrow. So if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. I will make another video. I was just playing this Thermotrag, or yeah, I don't even know how to say it. Gosh, it's a Thermotrag. It's hard to say, but I'm really enjoying this game. I think it's freaking awesome. But yeah, dude, I wanted to make this video earlier, but I just kind of got wrapped up in playing this. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.